All right. Good evening. I certainly hope and pray that all is well. All right. Good evening. I certainly hope and pray that all is well. All right. So let's just get into it. Before I say start with the topic I want to talk about tonight. So the title of my channel, the name of my channel is Let's Get Into It. When I started my YouTube channel back in my first one, doing tarot, it was, what was it, 2019? Like I said, about September, October, I think September, late September, October 2000, late September 2019. First, I started, the channel name was Kenyatta uh, Nefakare. Okay, that's part of my first name is Kenyatta. Nefakare was a name that priestess of a temple gave me, named after one of the pharaohs, I believe. Yeah, and then, and like a lot of readers when they start reading, they say, "So let's get into it." And I found myself doing it too. So I was like, "Oh, INTUIT, intuitive. Let's get into it." So I changed it to that. Eventually, I had it, as you can tell, the copyright done on it, paid for that and everything. There have been people to use it. INTUIT. It was one woman. She was making all kind of had a whole Etsy shop with everything. This was after I had it copywritten. I made a video a while ago threatening to sue. She was on Instagram. I didn't see her anymore. I don't know if she's still on there or not. Then, and when I was living in New York a couple years ago, and I got tired of these people, Brianna Jo Bellamy, Philippe Wheaton, and others bothering me, texting me all the time. When I started speaking out about things, I'm speaking out now the things that I've been through with these people. Um, some woman tagged me, has a channel called Let's Get Into It to do it, INTUIT, to do it. I watched a video. I don't know what she tagged me for, except probably working with and for, well, probably with Brianna Jo Bellamy to try to irritate and agitate. I made a video and at her, and then I blocked her. Like, don't bother me. I haven't bothered you. Do not bother me, okay? Because that's all. That's all it's about, just to agitate and irritate. So I see somebody subscribed to my channel the other day. They were asking me the name of it, and I spell INTUIT, but they put into INTO, another word, it. So there's another channel on here, but I don't know. I don't think that's tarot. I don't know what it is, but it's not like into it like mine. So I saw recently that someone titled their videos "Let's Get Into It," INTUIT, with her message. Now, I don't know this woman anyway. I didn't look at the video or anything like that, but I don't know her, and I don't have anything against it. She obviously probably knows my channel. So whoever you are, again, I don't even remember the name of your channel, hun. I don't have anything against her or anything. Like I said, the only person I got an issue with on this app is Brianna Jo Bellamy. Metaphysical Life Mastery, whatever the hell the name of that other Starfire Alchemist. And I looked, I said, well, people do these things. And I'm not saying she did this with this in mind. Maybe she saw it somewhere else, that Let's Get Into It to do it, or somebody else. But the way y'all know how things work on this app, especially in Tarotville. Okay. And I said, well, you know, it's not even something that I'm going to address in any kind of. I wasn't going to address it at all. I thought about, I said, well, maybe I'll just change the name of my channel. Something real simple. Okay. I ain't going to tell y'all the ideas that I had, all right? But undoubtedly, Brianna Jo Bellamy probably got this girl to do that, to try to agitate and irritate me, expecting me to get on camera yelling and screaming and going off on the girl and all of this kind of stuff. Because that's the typical type of thing people like her do, to try to elicit some kind of negative response from a person that they're trying to prove their line as narrative. And all the fighting. I mean, these are the tactics that they've been using, stuff like that. Um, that's possibly the case. Okay, and the way things work on this app, probably and more than likely, But at the same time, I don't know this the woman who is behind the channel. I don't even remember the name of the channel, honestly. I don't want to unfairly accuse this woman. I feel like she's young. I don't know. I just keep wanting to say young woman. Okay, and when I say young, I mean age wise. I'm not talking about her maturation or anything like that. I don't want to accuse her of being a part of anything like that because that would not be fair to do that to her because I don't know. I don't know her. I never heard of her channel before or anything like that. She might have just honestly saw it somewhere else. The idea might have come to her because I ain't the only person who thought like that. Intuitive, tarot, etc., etc., intuitive reader, etc., etc. So I don't want to be misjudge her, and I'm here miscalculate, but like misjudge her, and I damn sure wouldn't want to put anybody in cahoots with Brianna Joy Bellamy. I think that I would think that people would have a lot more sense than to get involved with her. Okay, so I don't want to, but it was an idea that crossed my mind. But again, and like I say about people, a lot of times people think that they're the only one this and they're the only one that come up with an idea or like certain things or whatever, and that's just not the case. So I'm not the only person who would think INTUIT, let's get into it, because many readers, they before they place their cards down or whatever, they say, okay, let's get into it. You know what I'm saying? So she very well could have thought the same thing. Um, which great minds think alike. Hell. Or she might have come across my channel and thought, oh, I like that. Because, and we do that in this life. We see things that other people do, we like it. We may take it on, with pure intention, not with intention to fight, you know, and to cause grief and drama for another human being. So, I just wanted to say that, because at one point I said, well, maybe I just fuck it, change my channel, the name of my channel to something like, my YouTube channel. How's that? Okay. But I had some ideas or whatever, but I may not do that. All right. But if there's no ill intent, and I can't say with her that it is, and it wouldn't be fair for me to say that, you know, then kudos to you, honey, because it's very, um, what's the word I want to say? It's catchy. It's a catchy title. Let's get into it. INTUIT. You know what I'm saying? So, kudos, to her or to if you happen to watch. Hell, she could have thought, like I said, she liked it and everything, and that would be that kind of admiration from another person, if that's the case, is nice as well. I don't know though, and I haven't reached out to her, and I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes people first thing they want to do is lash out and go off and all of that type of thing. Sometimes there are other perspectives that exist, not just one that the rulers then gave us so that we can fight each other and be divided, while they kicking our asses. All right. So let's be open. That's just a lesson for myself, but a lesson for others. Let's be open to other perspectives, not just what the rulers and the powers and the principalities of the darkness of the world have given us. Okay. And also open to other perspectives besides, whoever this person is over this group, who uh, have paid them to cause division amongst the tarot readers and cause them, mayhem, and also cause them, cause stress in people's lives for some people, cause karma to come back in people's lives unnecessarily. So, they don't have to, that person or that group or whoever it is, doesn't have to rule over us. We are sovereign beings. Okay. But anyway, so the other night, yeah, the last reading I did, I was channeling this person that it came to me. This person is stalking me, blah blah, want to be a part of my circle, all of this kind of thing. I don't even know who that is. Well, um, I don't have circles and groups and all of that type of thing. Okay, I have people that I talk to, but we all do. I don't have circles. I'm not in groups. I'm not an Eastern Star. I'm not in any sororities or fraternities, except the one fraternity I told you guys about that I was in for academics. Um, was it? I don't even know what the name of it is. Phi Beta Kappa or something like that. I don't even know. It's an honors, and they automatically put people in it who do well in school. Okay, because I did a program a few years back at Tri-C here, which is a community college, and I did well, and they automatically put you in there. It's nothing request to be in, or got to go through, all that. They just automatically put you in the group when your grade point average is a certain, you know, grade point average or whatever. Or okay, nothing. Okay, any groups, etc., etc., etc. So, so I'm like, I don't know, who and what the fuck is that all about? Okay, and of course, naturally, I thought it was a woman. Okay, so I thought about it later on after I got off, and I said it came to me who it possibly could be. And I said, hell no. Now, y'all hear me talking about this church shit. Okay, growing up in this church, my great grandfather's church, and whatever kind of coven and evil shit they had going on there, the elder came to be the elder. I told y'all about him who was in the car with the people, possibly over the trust, and that was mine. That was stolen. Okay. Oh, I forgot to say that. I'm so glad I brought that up. This woman who raised me was a registered nurse at Cleveland Clinic. She started off, she had been there for years. Um, I think she was an LPN first, a licensed practical nurse, at, when I was small, Huron Road Hospital, which was in East Cleveland, which has no longer exists. They tore the building down and everything. At some point, I was a child, so you don't pay attention when you're little to your parents' work. And but I next thing I know, she was working at Cleveland Clinic, and she worked in. I don't know when she became a registered nurse, but I know she became a registered nurse. I remember going to Cleveland Clinic. For those of you know who see what it is today, it was all none of that. Most of that shit was not there. Okay, I remember the cafeteria, how it used to be. She used to go there and get us breakfast and whatnot. Sometimes and donuts and bacon and shit like that. But anyway, so she was there a long time ago. She often spoke, probably in a kind of somewhat of a bragging way, about knowing the surgeons, some of the surgeons. I mean, Cleveland Clinic is, well, when I did my residency there as a chaplain, which was 2000, my daughter was born 2005, 2000, I think 2006, 2007, that year. Because we started in August and ended in August. It was the number 2 hospital nationwide. I think Johns Hopkins was number 1, which I did interview there for a chaplaincy position, but I didn't get it. At the end of that year, doing my residency at Cleveland Clinic. But nevertheless, Baltimore, right? Yeah, Baltimore. Um, the CEO of the hospital at that time was, what is his name? Because I met with him. I always forget his name. Hold on. And he's retired now. Toby Cosgrove, medical doctor. I talked about how I emailed him about something. This was when I was doing my residency. I won't go into it. No long thing. Now I've talked about it before. I've explained it before, but I was able to meet with him. She talked about her working with him. She had worked with him. She had worked with, a lot of the surgeons, and bragged about how they knew her by name. Okay, first name. I understand. You know, in a sense, colleagues. In a sense, nurse, and you know how they are surgeons and doctors. Okay, especially at a hospital of that magnitude. So with this whole thing, this thing being this trust and whatnot, and inheritance and so on and so forth being stolen from me by her, allegedly, right? No. It would have been very easy to have people draw up documents, medical documents, saying that I might have been sick or had mental illness or had some kind of physical illness or something along those lines. Very easy for her to do that. She was right there. She said she knew these people on a first name basis. As you knew Toby Cosgrove. I wouldn't. I'm not saying he would do no shit like I don't know who it would. Okay, but that more than likely, I wouldn't doubt that that's something that was done. Okay. I've already spoken about it, but I'll speak it again. I've never had any illnesses. Okay. Um, no, not sick in any way, not now. Okay. No mental, none of that shit. Okay. I'm relatively, and have been all my life, relatively healthy person. You get colds, the common colds, the flu. I've gotten that. Of course, Um, when I thought I had COVID, they took the test. It didn't say positive, but it didn't say negative. It said it was unable to detect it or something along those lines. But since it wasn't an exact negative, of course, I couldn't go to work for a few days. Okay. I used to joke and say that my pregnancy was an illness. And the reason I say it was just like, it was just hell for me. That first trimester was, it was bad for me. I was extremely nauseous. I had bad heartburn. Another talk for another day. Perimenopause, the typical shit. Okay. But no illnesses, diabetes, high blood pressure, um, cancer, none of that shit. Okay. Anyway, no STDs, okay, STIs, none of that shit, okay. Anyway, but it would have been easy for her being in that environment, being there, and saying that she know all of these great doctors, and I work with them, and they know me by name, first name, because she had been there so long, and blah blah blah. It would have been nothing for her to have those kinds of things drawn up, those kinds of letters and documents, and having some doctor do it, assign it, and whatever. All right, and pass it off as, legitimate, so we can get steal this money and kick her down and keep her in the fucking poorhouse. No, not keep her in the poorhouse, make her homeless. No, well that's right. They were gonna put me in the grave. Okay, but that wasn't working. Who knows how long she had been trying to do that? Okay, so hopefully make her homeless. Get as many people involved as we possibly can. Y'all understand? Bree don't understand first thing. She this bitch talk first thing, third thing, fourth thing, and fifth person. Duh. So I think the rest of you all who have a brain, you understand. Okay. Anyway, she's the only person I've ever met. I was like, well, she's just dumb. Everybody else understands. Everybody else is clear. But I know that she's retarded. Okay. So anyway, I wanted to say that. But as a matter of fact, this woman who raised me often has told me, if you don't feel well, you know, try your best to, heal yourself first. She was like, try your best not to go to the hospital. Try your best. Oh, I did have I don't know if it was completely broken, like, or maybe a fracture, whatever, like, I think my ankle or something like that when I was in the fifth grade, no, sixth grade. Um, I had to wear casts and crutches and all that. I don't know if oh, that's what I said. She would say, try not to, your best not to go, because she said, because when I tell you they're practicing medicine, that's exactly what they're doing. She claimed that she's seen so much in the hospital and all that kind of stuff. There's nothing that she said to me at this point that I can look at with. I used to look at, well, she gave me some, I used to say that all the time. Y'all see me on here. She gave me a lot of wisdom. She gave me some good advice. She gave me, but now, the more, and as time goes on, more and more things are revealed and whatnot. The more I've come into my true self. Okay, not who her black magic witchcraft and the rest of them was trying to make me be. I don't know anything that she said to me that came from a place of 4-4, that came from a place of that was genuine in the positive. Okay, but again, just like I was saying earlier about the channel name, you take the meat and throw away the bones perspective. Okay, and you utilize what is, it to your advantage. Okay, so I don't know, the purpose of if that was some genuine shit, or who knows what, because people like this, they're diabolical. They're diabolical. That I'm telling you about, that occurred mainly within the last, when it was becoming painfully obvious. Or I think around 2021, maybe a little bit before that. Painfully obvious, not obvious, but painfully obvious. But I didn't want to see it for what it was. I forgot what I was gonna say. What I was saying, but again, I don't know that any of it was genuine from a positive, a place, of anything positive, or, oh, that's what I was saying. When it became painfully obvious, the whole shebang with what she was doing to me and others was not new. It didn't just start just then. Okay. So back to what I was saying about this person, that when I was channeling the other night and it came to me, there's a person watching you, stalking you, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't know who the fuck it is. Whatever. I get off, think about it at some point, and I'm thinking it's some woman. Excuse me. Now, so I've explained to you some of the things that I went through at that church, my great-grandfather's church, who died when I was 1 year old. I'm pretty sure, like I said, I interviewed a woman who when I interviewed her, she was 101. I was probably about 29 years old. She had been a member of my great-grandfather's church. It was the first Kojic church in the state of Ohio. She had been a member as a child. So I interviewed her, and she shared some things with me. And my great-grandmother, of course, my great-grandmother was only like 18 when she married him. My great-grandfather, he was 45. He had been married before and had a son, but his wife and his son had died. And so he married my great-grandmother. She was very young. So she had a lot of beautiful, beautiful pictures, which my uncle probably has at this point. This is on my father's side. I can't imagine, but I don't know. Okay, and I did see some energy in here trying to get in. Oh, just now, okay. But anyway, beautiful, beautiful pictures. I just love all that old stuff, man. I love it. Beautiful black and white pictures. And the things that she told me that they did at the church, that they had at the church, the lady who was 101. It's just like, I was like, well, what happened? None of that stuff was there when, in my years there. What happened? They had an orchestra, all kind of stuff going on. You know, I feel like, but I'm not. I don't know for sure. I feel like it's nothing I've asked either. I feel like these things that I'm telling you about was obviously some kind of witch coven and something they had going on there, because it was a bishop who came there through there to do a revival from South Dakota, and he was preaching and whatnot, and he said he stopped. He said somebody done came in here, some witches come in here and put powder all around this church, for it to not do well. Okay. Um, which I was sitting there, I remember when he said that, and I was sitting there like, yeah. Because I can't understand how this is the first culture church in the state, and it's just like this, and so small like this, especially after interviewing that woman. Like, what the hell happened to this church? You know? And at first, I don't remember exactly how he said it, but my thought was that when he said it was that somebody from the outside, so maybe some visitor or something. Well, as time went on, it's like, no, bitch, it's the people that are here. Okay, not somebody from the outside. Okay. People that are on the inside. Okay. But I don't know when that occurred. Okay. It sounded like the way he said it, well, at least when I envisioned it as he was talking, sounded like something that had happened years, probably even before I was born. Okay. But I don't know. All right. Um, so anyway, so I was always, I mean, just my whole life was, treat the black sheep or, you know, all that shit the way they do. Okay, people that they don't like, or they see the light in you. She got the light. Let's destroy her. Okay. Oh, well, she came from a young little white woman with some money. Let's kill her and get all the money. You understand what I'm saying? That type of shit, right? So my peers, I was telling you, this girl said to me, those peers that treated you that way, they got that from their parents. Because why would they do that? And which I was like, yeah, you're right. And at the time I'm thinking this woman is my mother, but now I look back on that conversation like, and it probably came from her. Okay. Because those girls would mistreat me there. And sometimes I would tell her things, and it's like, you have to tell her she see. And it was something that I can remember shit all the way back till I was real small. Like 4. Okay, I told you about one girl one time. Me and her we was tiny little things. Okay, and me and her were talking. She was my little best friend at church, and we were talking. This girl, don't talk to her. I mean, like we're like what 4 or 5 years old, bitch. And my little best friend, she looked there. She said, "Don't tell me who to talk." I mean, she really gave her the fucking blues. Her family had left the church. I really missed when they left. Okay, but anyway. She went off on the girl. You tell me who to talk to. It would be nice if it could be more people like that instead of like followers. You know, she wasn't, and she wasn't as one a follower, and she probably never was. Probably still ain't. Smart woman, and from what I remembered as we got older, my sibling I think would talk to her. She was the type she wasn't taking nobody's shit neither. Smart woman. Few of those. People jump on bandwagons, be sitting there jumping on the bandwagon and do you in, talking to you so nasty, this, that, and the other. But the whole time someone be sitting there like, God, I know this ain't right, but I gotta be with the group. But we already talked about that. And then they expect you to take it and just deal with it, And then, when you get older, they try to front on you. And then when you give them a tongue lash and they cry. I had one. She was once 1 minute she nice and good and safe. Next minute she not when she had to be with the group. So I know how they talked about me and whatnot. They be sitting up in the choir stand. I be sitting there because I used to play the flute. On the front pew, talking about me. I said, look, I'm talking about me right now. I don't even talk to none of them bitches up there, not one. So it was a watch night service. And one of them, she spoke to me, and I didn't speak to her, or I gave her a dry high or something like that. Well, can I get a hug? What the fuck? You see, and why y'all do that? No, you cannot hug me. Oh, you feel because the spirit is high now in the church. You're feeling bad about your shit, about participating in bullshit. So now you, after you've talked about me and did me so dirty and nasty, I don't talk to any of you all. But the spirit is high, so you're feeling convicted. So now you want to come give me a hug? I don't want your nasty energy on me. No. Why are you projecting your stuff onto me? Go away. And she just couldn't figure it out. She just couldn't figure out why I wouldn't let her hug me. And can I talk to you downstairs? I said, you sure can. And she said, I was really hurt. I said, I'll be hurt. I'll be hurt when y'all be sitting in the quiet still talking about me. I don't care that you hurt. Nope. And see, some people in the church, that ain't right. Yes, it is right. You're supposed to be truthful and honest. I don't care that your feelings are hurt. You don't give a damn that my feelings are hurt. I didn't cuss. But you haven't even apologized. But you feel guilty now. Because I don't even think half of them girls was there that night. But if they were, you'd still be over there doing the same shit. Get the fuck away from me. Gross. I don't want your nasty energy on me. I mean, they just expect that you just are going to be like, okay. No. And she starts crying. I was like, I cried too. I've shed tears too. So then I guess she went and ran and talked to the lady who was all up under, they was all up under her, one of the youth leaders, and she, well, Nikki, I want to talk to you. Talk to me about what? And her husband was just sitting there looking straight. Probably wanted to tell her, you need to mind your fucking business. I'm not. I don't follow up behind your apron strings like the rest of them do. At the time, my thought was, I got a mama, and it ain't you. But anyway, so I'm just saying, So anyway, this is the information that comes to me. A man